Hello, 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 everybody, and good evening. This is Gina with Nailed It DIY Studio Hickory, and I am coming to you live from one of my favorite places, apparently, my dining room. And so I hope that you guys are getting a chance to join in tonight because I am super excited about what I'm going to show you tonight that you can DIY at home. Super fun project, something that I have wanted to make for a really, really long time. Always wanted to make this, so I'm so excited that I finally just said, hey, let's get to it and let's make one. So if you saw my social media post earlier, a couple of you played along and you saw that I posted my fall tier tray. Hey, Althea, how are you? Hey, Ella, I hope you're watching. I posted my fall tier tray with the picture, two photos side by side, and said, hey, what's different? Althea, by the way, is one who played along and commented, and it's not there now, but what was different was this. And so this is what we're going to be doing tonight. I'm so excited because, like I said, I've always wanted to make these bead strands, garlands. Aw, hey Ella, I'm so glad you're watching. Miss you. I hope school's going good. I've always wanted to make these, and so I thought, this is as good of a time as any to go ahead and do it. And it is so super easy. Trust me, like you can totally make this while you are sitting and watching your favorite show on TV. Whatever it is that you watch. Tell me what you like to watch in the comments. Maybe it's Fixer Upper. My friend Teresa got me hooked on this Netflix show called Call the Midwife. And so season 9 of Call the Midwife just recently released to Netflix. So I'm watching season 9 of Call the Midwife. Super excited about that. So you can definitely watch your favorite show while you're making these because that's how easy it is. It's so super easy. So this is a bead strand, Farmhouse Bead Garlands, whatever you want to call it, with these cute HGTV. Yep, I'm right there with you, Althea. Fixer Upper. Of course, they don't show that one as much, but I really like Hometown with Erin Napier and her husband, and love that show. But pretty much anything on HGTV I'm down with. But it has these cute little tassels on the end. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make one of these. So here's what you need. First, you need beads, right? You gotta have wooden beads to make this. So this particular strand that I made, these are made out of 20 millimeter wooden beads. We love Hometown. I know, it's such a good show. So 20 millimeter beads, and they're all the same. So you can kind of see my strand here. I did not mix and match, do different sizes, although that is definitely something you can do. If you look on Pinterest for Farmhouse Bead Garlands, you'll see some are mix and matched in terms of sizes. When I ordered my beads, I ordered an assortment. So I got varying sizes, 20 millimeters being my largest, which is this, and then going down into smaller sizes. Like I think my smallest is 10 millimeters, and I'm going to show you some with those. I've got 12, I've got 16, I've got 14, so varying degrees of sizes. So you need beads. So you got to have wood beads, all right? You need twine. That is what I used to make my tassels and what the beads are strung on. So I'm going to show you how easy that is to do. Now you can also sub in yarn as well, and you can make some super cute tassels out of yarn. Same exact process. So once you see how easy this is, you can definitely try some different textures, different materials. So you need beads, you need yarn, you need scissors, okay? And you need tape, and the tape is serving the purpose of putting it on the end of your, see how that's kind of, you know how twine does, guys, and how it will sort of fray at the edges. So we're just going to put a piece of tape on the end to keep it from fraying. So you can push the strand through the holes that are in the beads. That's it. That's all you have to make this super cute farmhouse garland. All right, so let me show you how to do this. To make the tassels, it's so easy. What you need is your hand and the twine. So what you're going to do to start to make the tassel, you're going to use your hand kind of as a measuring tool, if you will. So you're going to take, and I like to sort of spread my fingers apart slightly. This is not an exact science, by the way, but I like to do that just to get a little bit more length in my tassel. So you're just going to start wrapping. Now, the one thing that you do want to do is for this first tassel that you're going to make, count how many times you wrap it around your fingertips. Because when you make your second tassel, you want to wrap it that exact same number of times. Okay, so it doesn't really truly matter how many times you wrap it, as long as you do it the same for both. So for these cute little tassels, I wrapped 15 times around my hand like this, or around my fingers like this. And that's all you're going to do. So you can see I felt like it was nice and full. This twine is fairly thick, so I felt like it was nice and full and made a nice cute little tassel. So I was pleased with how that turned out. You can do more or less. Just do the same both times and you'll be good. So clearly I can't talk and count at the same time. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do 10 on this one. Here's why I'm going to do 10. Because I am, for this next one that I'm going to make, I used a smaller bead. So I want a smaller tassel. Makes sense, right? And so that's what I'm going to do. So you're going to wrap it around your hand. You can see that's what I did. Now where my starting twine string is, I want to cut it and have a piece that's hanging down and those to be hanging on the same side. So all I'm going to do now is just take my scissors and just snip it, okay? So that I have this basically a circle with these, my starting point and my ending point, both facing into the same direction, okay? Now what I'm going to do next is I am going to take the end of my twine and I am going to, so here's my loop that I made. So I'm going to take my end of my twine and I'm going to put it underneath the loop like this, and I'm going to tie it. I hope you guys can see that. All I'm doing is tying a knot in the top end. So this is going where it is opposite of the loose ends, my starting point and my ending point when I wrapped it. So basically all I'm doing here is just looping that around, tying it off into a knot, okay? I am attempting to tie it into a knot. All right. Ta-da! A knot is tied. So now it is hanging from the end of my twine. So this is actually how it's going to attach the tassel for the string, the piece of twine that I'm going to string my beads on, okay? Now, again, this is a guesstimate here. It's not an exact measurement of how long I want my twine to be. So what I'm doing from my end point, or from the point where I tied on, so I'm just going to kind of, go about this. It's 14-ish inches. Exact measurement, right? And I'm doubling that over like this, okay? And then I am going to go back slightly to half. So I pulled out my string, my twine, doubled it back, and I'm going to go about halfway again, and I'm going to cut it. Now this is so you, if you buy your twine in a roll, right, because that's typically how it's going to come, you don't have such a great length of twine that you're going to have to string beads on. Now this is where you want to use your tape. So I'm just going to get a small piece of tape here. I'm going to find the end of my piece of twine and I am just going to wrap it. Okay, the only purpose this is serving is to keep my ends from being too frayed out. And so when I am, think about like kind of like a shoelace. It's like I'm making the end of the shoelace. I'm wrapping this around here like the end of a shoelace would look, to make it a little bit easier when I am going to string on my beads. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of, very technical term here, crunch it together, squish it, squish it together so that the end of my piece of twine has the tape on it that's kind of shoelace-esque. Okay? All right, so there we go. So again, for this second one that I'm making, okay, first when I use the 20 millimeter beads, for this one, I am actually going to use some smaller beads just because I wanted to see what it looks like. So these beads are actually pretty tiny. I'm going to hold one of them up. See how small it is, especially compared to my other bead. These are the 10 millimeters. Okay, so they're the smallest ones that I have. But I wanted to make like a cute little strand of these small beads. So that's what I'm attempting to do. So then all you're doing, and again, this is like perfect TV watching DIY at home craft, because all you're doing is just stringing the beads, right? My friend Ann talks about stringing the beads. She literally doesn't mean this, but when saying stringing the beads makes me think of her, and I love her. So, and I'm stringing beads. So you're just going to push it through and just literally string it on. So you're pulling that bead. This string, this twine piece may be a little long, but you're just pulling that bead until it comes down and meets to the knot that you previously tied in what is the beginning of my tassel loop. Now, I wanted to experiment a little bit. So what I'm going to use all 10 millimeter beads on this strand, but I'm going to use these. You can see are just cute little unfinished beads. That's how they come. So when you order these wood beads like this, they're just cute little unfinished beads, look very natural. But I wanted to experiment. So I decided to see how I could sort of tint my beads, paint them if you will, in a super easy way. So here's what I did. I had at my house these really inexpensive little bottles of acrylic craft paint. And so I took a little paper cup here and a plastic spoon, okay? And I just squirted, this is like teaspoon size, so I squirted 2 teaspoons of paint, put it in my cup, and then I diluted it with a teaspoon of water. So if you could see inside here, look, I wouldn't recommend taking a sip of this, but basically it is very watered down paint, okay? Then I took some of my little 10 millimeter beads, unfinished, dropped them down in the cup. Now you want to stir this when you first put in the paint. I don't know if I've had my little bottles too long. It was kind of gloopy, so I had to mix it pretty well when I put the water in. So you want to make sure you've mixed it well before you drop the beads in. And then I just dropped beads into my cup, left them, I mean literally maybe 5 minutes. I didn't want them to be fully dyed or colored, if you will. I wanted some of the wood grain to show through. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, ooh, this is challenging for y'all to see. Hold on. Can you kind of sort of see how it's orange? It looks way more orangish in front of me, so y'all may have to come on over so you can see it. But it kind of tinted it orange, but it's pretty washed, so you can still see some of the wood grain show through. So I did some orange. This, you're definitely going to have an easier time seeing. I did some brown. So you can see, let me show you the comparison of the brown tinted one. Can y'all see that? Like, I feel like my fingers look like crabs up here in front of the camera. And then you can see the unfinished one. Okay, so essentially, my plan here is to string on unfinished. It's like a pattern, right? Unfinished, my brown beads. So I'm putting brown on. So I'm going to do one unfinished, one brown, and one orange. Now, if you want these to get a little more colored, then what you can do is not water your paint down quite as much as I did, and leave them a little bit longer in the color. So unfinished, it's a pattern, unfinished, brown. Here goes the brown one. It really works well. Like, I'm doing this and talking like y'all can see what I'm doing. So let me hold this up. It really works well to have that tape on the end. It's super easy. Again, great TV watching activity. So can y'all see that? Look at how cute that's going to be. So I've got this pattern, the unfinished, the brown one that I kind of tinted orange, and I'm just going to do that pattern down this strand. Okay, now you may be looking at this and thinking, okay, how are we going to make this look as cute as the other one? So here's what you've got to do. Let's go to where I started my tassel. Okay, I'm basically going to take it, you know, not very far, maybe an inch down from the top, and I'm just going to squeeze it together like that. And then I'm going to take my twine and I am going to wrap it. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm just wrapping it around, just maybe an inch down from the top, okay? Wrapping it around, and I'm going to tie this on. So I'm just going to tie a little knot here. So give me a second to do that, because clearly tying the knot and trying to hold this up is quite a challenge for me. So I'm going to tie a little knot here. Okay. My fingers aren't working. Tying a little knot. All right. Who knew I could feel so accomplished after getting the knot tied? Then I'm going to take this twine and I'm going to wrap it around several times. I'm getting a little bit tangled here, but you can kind of see I'm just going to wrap it around several times around the top here, so that I create that cute little top of the twine. Can you guys see that? So gonna do that. Then of course what I'm gonna do here is cut off my twine and tie another knot. So there's a lot of knot tying in this, but it's super effective. So we're gonna pretend, because tying a knot is apparently a challenge for me, that is tied. So here we go. Then all you've got to do, where this is looped together from the beginning where I wrapped it around my fingers, you're going to take your scissors and you are going to cut the bottom. Okay, just cut it. And then where you first started your stringing, if you've got a long strand there, just trim it so that it matches and it's the same size. So that is how, okay, trying to hold it because I didn't actually tie the knot. So that is how you make your cute little tassel. So you can see here, okay, if that were wrapped and tied around, how cute this little strand is going to be. So when I finish this, I will post some pictures in the comments so you guys can see what this finished strand looks like. So let's imagine that I have this strand completed, and it is all the way with my beads on there, and so I'm ready to make a tassel on my other end. So I'm going to repeat the same process that I did from the beginning. Once this piece of twine is full of beads, okay, once it's full of beads, I'm going to take from my roll of twine, I'm going to do the same process that I did in the beginning, wrapping. Remember, just wrap the same number of times. I did 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a big knot here. So pardon my knot. Let me get that untangled. All right, almost there. There we go, 9, 10. And then you're going to cut it just like we did before. So wrapping it around, cutting it so that the bottom ends are down. And then you're coming to, okay, where I've got my string of beads. So here's my string of beads. We're imagining that it's filled. Okay, if you've got extra twine, once you've strung on all the beads that you want to string on, then you'll just cut it. And then I'm going to attach this by tying it to the other end. So I'm just going to tie it on, and then I will repeat the same process. I'm going to squeeze it, loop some around, cut the bottom, and then you will end up with a cute little tassel like this with a farmhouse bead garland with 2 tassels on the end. Isn't that easy? And it's so fun, pretty inexpensive to make when you get your materials, and just such a fun little project. And then what I wanted to do with mine, what I did in the picture that you guys saw today, there's so many things you can do with these. You can kind of loop it around in your, can you guys see that? Let me move over. There we go. Can you guys see that? How cute is that? So you can loop it around in your fall decor. It looks cute on candles. So many different uses and places that you can put a farmhouse garland, a farmhouse bead garland. So lots of uses for that. If you keep it super neutral like this one, then it's definitely something you can use in many different seasons. So it would work for fall. It would work for really all year round. Of course, dyeing your beads like this one, it's going to be more season specific. So that would be a fun little touch to make, you know, a fall one, a Christmas one, all of those things. Thank you, Althea. Oh, thanks, Nancy. So lots of fun things that you guys can do with those. So make some farmhouse garland beads. Thank you, Dom. And post yours in the pictures so we can see each other's creativity. Now, one other thing that I want to share with you guys, I'm super excited about, and I've got 2 awesome business partnerships that are going to be shared out on social media, hopefully this week. And one is going to be with Emerson's Cafe Coffee House in Mountain View on 127. So be looking for a special announcement to come about a partnership that I'm going to do with them. I mean, I'm in the dining room. Obviously, you know I like food. So also with 3 Little Chicks Bakery, going to have a fun DIY take and make cookie and wood project kit for you guys. So super excited about those partnerships. Be looking for those to come out on social media. I've got my little sweetheart here joining me for just a second. But one other thing I'm going to share, since this was like International Coffee Week, we have got some super cute coffee signs. This is mine that I have here at my coffee bar in the house. So don't forget to book your appointment. Come and see me in the studio and we'll DIY something together. We can talk about farmhouse garland beads or HGTV or call the midwife, whatever your favorite thing is. So hope you enjoyed watching my tutorial on making a garland bead strand, and get to DIYing, guys, and show me those pictures. And I will see you in the studio soon. Everybody have a great evening.